How do I look? How do I look? She asked brightly, a smile hovering tentatively around her reddened lips. He looked at her for a moment. How? How had they got together? Every time the question crept into his gut, the answer became more shadowy, more blanketed in mystery. She was his new wife. For the world, young, bold, and beautiful. For him, exhaustingly, increasingly insecure. He had met her at an investors' meeting. Her father was a prominent businessman in the city and now one of his major clients. Those facts, together with the time-worn equation of his marriage, had catalyzed this new union. He and his wife, his ex-wife now, got along. They loved each other as couples do, who have slipped into the comfortable folds of familiarity and togetherness. But she, this shiny, seductive thing, had put her manicured hand into his somewhat spiritless one and weaved her magic. Just months later, she was ensconced in his home as his new wife. The excitement of the romance and the titillation of a new body had swiftly worn off as the days had marched on. He had been hoping that the honeymoon period would last at least a couple of years. But it had slipped away as fleetingly as it had assaulted his senses in the early days. Now there was Samin, her constant demand for his reassurance, and him. The trio lived together in this strange, dreamlike existence that his life had become. She had inherited her mother's docility and insecurity. His mother-in-law, whom he had never met. She was incapacitated, hidden away from the ravages of the world in a fairy tale fortress, like Rapunzel. She was schizophrenic and suicidal. So far, her offspring was just diffident, soaking up her sense of self from his urging and solacing. Sometimes, he thought, she tapped into his most vital, his innermost reserves of peace to shore up her fortitude for the outside world. More and more he felt trapped, powerless to just be. To expect any semblance of companionship or support from Samin was out of the question. Now he worried for his own sanity. For the 100th time he wondered where she was, what she was doing. His wife, his ex-wife now. He was wearing a purple shirt with a pink bow tie. He stared at his reflection in the glass that covered one entire wall of the room. He hated purple. Pink and purple were Samin's beloved hues, liberally sprinkling her teeming wardrobe. And his too, now he thought with a shudder. He looked at her even as she preened in yards of billowing pink taffeta. They were at his in-laws for dinner.